I know it's been a long time since I posted on this channel. I realized that it's not always going to be easy for me to post on this channel, you know, talking candidly, and I have levels of motivation and willpower throughout the week and months or whatever. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do dishes while I talk, and I want to kind of make this a stream of consciousness. I just took a shower. I'll probably be going back and forth to the bathroom, getting myself ready. I put some clothes on, but I'm still drying off. This is where I kind of practice talking freely, articulating better, projecting my voice better, getting expression. I want to be able to do that, all based with my, you know, insecurities and sense of self. So there may be times where it's going to be silent because I'm kind of doing stuff, you know. But when something comes to my head, I'm going to speak. I'm not going to edit this. I don't want to edit this. I want it to be whatever is in my head that I kind of say, you know. I could edit myself in terms of not being too vulgar, or you know, if I get into real personal like names and stuff like that. But the more I get used to this, the more I'm going to be, you know, more candid. You know, there's certain things that get to me and that are on my mind, and then all of a sudden your mind is racing with things that I could easily just film, put up, and forget about, so I could be more in the moment. That sounds like a good plan to me. It just came to me today in the shower. So actually I was thinking about filming on this channel because I don't have any, I'm working on stuff for my other channel, my fitness channel, and I was doing things spontaneously too, which I think is good. Couple minute videos, you know, with tips and stuff. You know, but the motivation's not there, it's not there. So I think that's a good time to switch to this channel, Taking Back Your Life, because it's all intertwined. Taking back your life, taking back my life. I never used to like cleaning. I do like it. It's kind of meditative. Just like playing with my hair is very meditative. I'll get to that in another video, which I'll probably do another channel on hair. I've neglected doing that, even though it's something that I'm, I guess you could say, passionate about. It's kind of upsetting to say that. You know, it's trendy right now, long hair. But you know, you get a sense of patience and dealing with things that are genetically given to you. Some people can grow their hair to their butts without work. Some people have hair that breaks off and they need to work more on it. That would be me. So it's like building your body, getting your body and your health and your mind to where you want it to be. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of habit forming and a lot of consistency. So I'm gonna start doing some laundry, dishes. I have my iPad next to this TV screen. I don't watch TV, but I watch a lot of YouTube, and usually I'll have it playing while I'm doing stuff. That makes things go by quicker and it adds to the meditation. But I'm thinking that talking to a camera will kind of do the same thing. Kind of kill two birds with one stone. You know what I mean? Because as I figured out, being more of a perfectionist mentality, which I haven't visited that concept in a long time, I tend to get upset when certain things aren't done, when I can't do things, when I don't have enough time, when I don't have enough energy or motivation, and that kind of gets to me. It snowballs. I'm already at the point where I kind of do things when I have the motivation, but I make sure that my life is built so that I have the motivation and then I'm able to do many things throughout the day with lots of energy, building up my stamina. Not only fitness stamina, but mental stamina. Without, the use of caffeine, without staying up too late at night. You know what I mean? So, being sidetracked, I wanted to focus more on the narcissists in my life, or the narcissistic people in my life. Now, I've been watching a lot of that, There are lots of YouTubers talking about that. There's also Sam Vatnan. I've seen his documentary, and I see he has a YouTube video too, YouTube channel on that. But it's weird. I know we all tend to have narcissistic traits. We can, and I had, for a long period of time, I thought that I was more narcissistic. I believe I have certain traits. I'm vain, but I'm not to the extent which I thought I was. I haven't been diagnosed, but hear me out. Well, I'm hearing myself out. When I was in beginning college or university, I had long hair like I do now, and I like to dress at the time I was dressing to get attention, and I went into this store where this flamboyant guy, back in the day, gay, being obviously gay was a hindrance back in the day. Don't get me wrong, I'm gay, but I didn't know at the time. But it was just, I won't say it's a twink. I would say it's someone who resembled Jimmy Somerville. Google that. Someone nondescript, not very sexy looking, not very sexual, but the gossip. It was a gossipy person, very bitchy, catty, hung around girls because he wanted to gossip with them. I'm not saying that's what Jimmy Somerville is like, but he looked like Jimmy Somerville. And, to each his own. So, he had said when I walked in the store to his friend while I was there, this guy's a narcissist. And that always stuck with me. At the time I thought being a narcissist was someone who was very vain and into their looks. I am, but not to, I upkeep what I need to upkeep, and I have a certain ritual, but I don't need to have the latest styles. I could dress in just a crappy t-shirt and whatever. So it's more than that, And now think about just now, this has been many, many years ago, realizing that it was projection, the guy, when ugly men go after beautiful women, but they know they can't have them, so then they degrade them. That just occurred to me, thought I would mention that because, people say things and usually they're saying things about themselves. I didn't know me, I just walked in the store. How do you know I'm a narcissist? You don't. You can't just do it by, I didn't say one word, Some people will say, yeah, you can tell, but I think you can tell once someone starts to compliment you non-stop and saying, oh, you're great, you're this, you're that, you're that. With the love bombing, or when it's too good to be true. But I don't think just walking in, because a lot of narcissists are not attractive, in my opinion. So it leads me to a point here. This one guy, not really attractive in the general sense of things. Can be attractive if he applied himself, and he would take a few pictures. And I was like, okay, if I'm gonna date someone, they don't have to be. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So I give people a chance until they fuck up, and then I know to leave. So anyway, so this is a guy I knew for many years. I met several years, like 15 years prior. But I don't remember too much about him, but I remember that, there was something about him that was off-putting to me. But I tend to think that people can work on themselves, So anyway, so I met him off a nap, and he was here in Montreal. I'm in Montreal. And I'm trying to get this clean. I'm going to have to use SOS. So, I didn't realize who it was until I got into the restaurant, He was chasing after me. And I was like, okay. I had nothing to do. This was off a nap. And there, I'm like, okay, meet me at this place at this hour. Because I didn't know what he'd be like in person, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't fuckable right away, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, let me see if we have a chemistry, and then whatever. So then when I saw him in person, I was like, wait a minute, I know you. So we were talking, we got along very well, and of course I went to his B&B, his hotel, or rather bed and breakfast. And from there I was like, okay, let's, I thought we were both in the same phase of life, He had his parents who just died. I had a mother who died, and I have a father who I just put in a home. I'll talk about that another time. But he was saying, that I like how you are now, I like this, you're great, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't think anything of it initially. Because I knew him, and, you know what I mean? I took it as very genuine. So, this is coming cleaner. So I said, okay, let's take this slow. He lives in New York, Brooklyn. I'll come visit, and we'll go back and forth. Because he travels to Montreal. Well, he hasn't for like 8 years or something, he said. But it seemed like he was willing to go back and forth. Because that's what he was doing. And he wanted to move to Montreal. But he couldn't get a job and whatever, the usual blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let's see where we could take this. So when I showed interest to come and meet him, go to New York for him, because I was looking for someone who would be active in building a relationship. You have, if you're going to do something long distance, there has to be regular visits before someone makes a move. I've done many long distance relationships. So there. Don't ask me if I prefer them. I'll get into another video. If you do ask me, I'll do a video. So, let me just lower this a bit. Anyways, it was kind of weird talking to him once he got home and I got home. And I felt like he didn't want me to come. It was like, why, when do you want me to come, whatever, and he had all these things to do, and it was like I was chasing after him. And he kept saying, well, I want to make the place nice for you and stuff. Fast forwarding it a bit, yeah, the place is because it was his parents' house, and it's a pretty close to hoarding, you know. He owns the place now, but the place is like really, yeah. Enough said, right? I don't judge, I went anyways, I kind of assumed that, you know, from what he was already telling me, but it wasn't an issue for me. As long as I get to know the person, you know. Before I went, like when I met him at the restaurant the first night in Montreal, you know, he was telling me how he made the decision to lose weight. He was really big. He still is pretty big. He's not a fitness guy, but it seemed like he was taking action to changing his health and everything, and his weight and all that in between. So that's kind of what I was attracted to. When I got to Brooklyn with him, yeah, it was really like, obviously he didn't know what he wanted. It was kind of all in the air. It was like I was, you know, I later felt like he was doing things just to convince me to come. You know, he was selling himself. That's what I felt. You know, that this guy is not boyfriend material. He doesn't even, you know, he plays a victim all the time. He was saying how he was ousted from the bear community because he lost weight. You know, the bear community is that's another issue. You know, the bigger the better sometimes. That's the thing about gay stereotypes. It's like high school, right? You have to fit into a certain group, you have to fit a certain visual characteristic, otherwise forget about it. So, fuck that. Yeah. And I noticed he was he's on my Facebook still. I didn't remove him. Some people I kind of hold out on. I don't interact with him. He doesn't interact with me. So it's kind of fine. I do see some of his posts. I read them every now and then. What really... Yeah. I know I could shut off notifications from him and stuff, but I don't like doing that. I like to completely cut someone out when there's no longer a reason for me to be in contact. I don't like to keep it on the border. I like to wait, which is what I'm doing now, because I may be wrong. But probably not. It's been since December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 8 months, and I haven't been thought otherwise, and nothing showed me to think otherwise. And look, I mean, the first time I met him, I never contacted him after that anyways, you know. I don't... It's my first sign, right? It's like someone you're kind of attracted to for like a split second, and then it's like, yeah. You know what I mean? So he seemed kind of like, he was selling himself as kind of an enabler, you know? Took care of his parents while they were dying in their home and all that. And he had the nerve to tell me what to do with my father. That, you know, that made me feel uncomfortable, so I stopped talking to him about that, because it's like it wasn't going through his head, my situation, and he thought his situation was the same. With some people, I'll, you know, have sexual relations, or be intimate for once or twice, and then I kind of get turned off. You know, if there's something off with the person, I get turned off, you know what I mean? Not necessarily physically, but physically in the sense that, okay, if you're not brushing your teeth and taking care of yourself, I'm getting grossed out. I'll be honest with that, you know. I gotta see that you at least care about some certain hygiene, you know, in that respect. That's my perfectionist mentality, but I'm sticking with that. A little effort, you know? But if I don't like your personality after that, it's going to be really hard for me to be sexually attracted to you after I get to know you. Unless I really, you know, it's kind of like, there's one or two people that, you know, I don't necessarily like, but once in a while I get really horny for, and I'll be very aggressive with sexually. And then after that we just don't talk. That's kind of cool too. But they're not boyfriend material, you know? So, getting back, yeah, it wasn't, and when I stopped being sexual with him, because it just ended up that he would just, you know, suck me off, because I didn't want to touch him anymore, you know? After the second day, I stayed for a week. I was like, I'm really turned off. And we're not really talking. And he said, you know, you don't like to kiss, do you, or whatever, or something like that. What do you say? You know, when I say, no, you got stank breath. You're like, you don't take care of yourself. This is gross. I didn't say that. Didn't need to. I kind of knew what the situation was. And, you know, we would still hang out a bit. I'd go to the gym. He wouldn't go. And, you know, he had his reasons. It was too expensive, whatever. He would tell me things, just tell me situations that happened, and it's like I kept getting sucked into it. I'm like, well, you know, you just gotta deal with yourself, or, you know, and I was getting pissed off because it's like he was playing such a victim, you know. I'm like, you know, why the fuck am I here? That thing, you know. I like someone who's ambitious. You know, we all have problems, but deal with your shit, go into action. That's what I like. Or, you know, be clear as to what you want, you know, and then, you know, allow me to make a decision. Did I just cut myself on this wire? So anyways, so when I got back, I knew, like, actually I started dating someone else. He started contacting me a bit. And I finally said, you know, I'm seeing someone. And then he said, oh, we should talk on the phone face to face. What for? I'm seeing someone. And I didn't answer that. I was like, no, I think it's like, no, I think you had your chance. And that's it. I'm not interested anymore. So that was my way out. And so he never contacted me again. But I see his posts, and it's like, obviously he has a lot of friends on there. But you know when people post so many things on their Facebook, it's like too much information, you know. It's like he's looking for reactions from people. When something bad happens, someone told him off, or he had a thought of an idea that he wants to do. Do it, and then see what happens. You know, that I realize that's how and he gets a lot of comments, you know, and interaction. I don't like that. You know, talk to people in person, or have a certain crowd that you post to that are your close friends. I don't need to know that, and it actually pisses me off. Which is, if I get pissed off enough, then I'll remove them. But I'm going to wait a little longer. But it does affect me. You know. And he shares so many things. And when I was at his place, that's all he did was just took his phone and was like for hours on the Facebook. And the guy I just finished dating with, we stopped a few months, he was doing that too. But I was in love with that guy. That's another story. But it's the bottom line, it just took me longer to realize, you know, he's got the issues he needs to work through, and he's helping everyone else, which this guy in New York, I guess, is helping a lot of other people, but not himself. And he's playing a victim. But now looking at all this, you know, when people put when they're in the hospital and I really need your prayers, please help me. I broke my toe. And then to get all these people say, oh, poor you, we're here for you. I really believe the guy in New York is more of a covert narcissist. There was something that was really irking me. I don't like, don't get me wrong, I don't like people just being all the way positive and look at me, look at me, look at me. But I don't like all the, if you're going to post something negative, put a spin on it, that you managed to do something to make it a positive. Don't just say, oh, someone told me off at work, I'm crying now. Don't need to do that. You're 50 years old, stop. So, yeah. So that's my rant. I'm almost finished. I'll just do a little more. But, yeah. He would then write posts about wanting a boyfriend and why people don't like him, because he works at a church, he's got his house, he's got this, people don't like that. How do you know people don't like that? I knew that about you and I went to New York. Those were qualities that I liked, Just want sympathy. Me, in a negative way. Yeah. So, and he would tell me that his mother was known as the madam or whatever, like Mother Dearest almost. Like you couldn't call her mom, you had to call her something else. Really? Yeah. That kind of settles it in that like he was a mama's boy, and like that breeds narcissism in the kids. When the mother is so overprotective, and I was overprotected by my parents. I'll get into that another time. It's like, wow. Oh. And he never had anything nice to say about people. Now that I think about it, it was always like, they all did this, they all did this, they all did this. His sister, that she's gonna do something wrong because she's not doing this and doing this. I mean, we all do that. But, yeah, it was like, what? Don't worry about your sister, worry about yourself. I mean, it was so frustrating being with this guy. It's like, who the fuck cares, dude? Sorry, who the cares? I think my voice is going down because I'm kind of like, when I'm in stream of thought, I tend to mumble a bit. So, yeah. So I am done with this. Okay, one more. You know what? I'll do the rest tomorrow. I'm pretty good. What I like about these videos is that I don't have to do it in daylight. The lighting's probably very terrible. But I don't care for these videos. Just hear me talk, and that's it. So, take a little water, because that was... Oof. And I'm going to upload this now, and I hope to do a few more. Just talking about certain people that really get to me, and hopefully someone will be inspired by this, you know, or can relate. But also for me to kind of get it off my head, think about it, because I'm not talking about it to anybody.